Good evening, one and all, and welcome to the match review of that, what shall we say, yesterday, interesting match between Newcastle United and Watford, which finished 1-1 at St James's Park. Once again, we come out of it with a point when it should have been 3. Once again, we score, and then we sit back and let the opposition come onto us. Once again, there is uproar in the media about a certain Rafa Benitez, and I'm bloody sick of it. Listen, I'll come on to you guys in a minute. The fact that Rafa's been sacked has just created a frenzy on social media, and I find it appalling, absolutely appalling, the disrespect that Eddie Howe is getting shown on social media by a certain amount of fans saying, "Oh, we should get Rafa back." Why? What has Rafa done to enable him to get the job back? What has Rafa done to enable just to walk into Eddie Howe's job? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The guy went to China, he failed. He came back to Everton, he's failed. He's not the be-all and end-all. He's not the messiah anymore, right? Now, I love Rafa just as much as the next guy along who, he did wonders for us when he was here. But that ship has sailed, and sailed a long way away. He's not the same manager anymore. He won't get the best out of these players anymore because they're a lot older, or a couple of years older. And they're failing now as well. So the disrespect I find that Eddie, everybody was saying, "Oh, Eddie Howe's wonderful, this and that," when he signed. His work rate is brilliant. They can't wait to see what happens. Give the guy a bloody chance, man. Give him a chance to get his players in. Give him a chance to get his ethics across. He's been here 2 minutes. And yes, you can certainly criticize a manager for certain decisions that he makes, but hopefully that manager will learn by those mistakes. But I just find it appalling, the disrespect that he has been shown by the same people, by the way, who were like saying, "Oh, Eddie Howe's this and that, and it's brilliant, he's a breath of fresh air." The same people are now saying, "Oh, let's get him out and move Rafa back in." Bollocks. Danielle, good evening. We'll start on the thoughts with Rafa. I know you were a big Rafa fan. Where do you stand on all of this?
Yes, I was Camp Rafa. When the takeover was first announced, I remember talking about it on the fan forum and stuff. But
yep.
Nah, man. Like, I just don't think he's right. I think it's completely, just my opinion, that it's completely disrespectful. Eddie Howe. I don't think Rafa would want to come in now anyway. I don't even think he would be interested in a kind of position upstairs even. I think this is the Newcastle United fan base divided again, and in my opinion, it's panic mode. Yesterday, the reaction last night on social media, on other streams that we were part of yesterday, is sheer panic and meltdown. And I understand it. I absolutely understand it, but for me, Rafa's definitely not the answer to this problem. This problem is a rebuild, a complete rebuild right from the bottom up. So that Rafa Benitez is not going to be able to do anything with that squad that Eddie Howe can't do, in my opinion.
Yeah. Just to let you know, guys, as well, I'm not going to read any comments or put any comments on the screen that are in caps lock. All right. Capital letters, in my opinion, are people shouting, and I won't have that. So if you put your comments in capital letters, they're not going to get read out and they're not going to get shown. It's as simple as that. I can't stand it. It's just, and I know a lot of people can't stand it as well. So it stops now. I won't be reading any out that are in caps lock. Simple as that. It's like people are shouting at me, and those that shout at me, I don't take too kindly to. Mr. Alex, good evening. What was first of all your thoughts about? We'll come on to the game in a minute, but this furore about Rafa Benitez.
I agree with what you guys have said. I think it's the wrong time. I don't know if he's past it, but I feel like he would come, if he came back, he would come in and try and use players that he used to be familiar with, who are past it, and it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work at all. And to play his system as well that he prefers, I guess we just got Chris Wood in, which that would be his Rondon, but defensively, we'd have to just get so much through the door. He was using a very young Hayden and Sean Longstaff when they, like pre-injury, when they were quite scrappy. Yeah, like they bossed the midfield against Man City one season. They did a cracking job, but they're not playing like that anymore. That was 3 or 4 years ago. It wouldn't work. I just don't think it would work at all. It would be, and again, Eddie Howe's had 10 matches. Like, it's disrespectful, massively disrespectful to him completely. He's and a lot of the hardships and comments he's getting, he's not making Clark do these mistakes, and there's a lot of things that aren't down to how he's setting up.
Danielle, is that your cat going mental?
Yeah, he's kicking off. Sorry.
It's all right. Just wondered what the noise was. I mean, look, I'm not being disrespectful to Rafa at all. I just don't think he's the man to come in and take this club to the next level, or get us out of the crap we're in. These players are basically the same players. It's Rafa and Steve Bruce's dead wood. That is the team that we have at the minute. So we can't sort of escape that Rafa. These are some of Rafa's players as well. And Rafa wasn't exactly superb in the transfer market either. He signed some numpties as well, and he also sold some decent players who've gone on to excel. So I don't get this magical Rafa thing that it's people's opinions, fair enough, and they're perfectly entitled to them. I just don't get where they're coming from that suddenly Rafa's available, despite him failing in China and failing at Everton, that he's going to walk into Newcastle and suddenly be this messiah. It doesn't work. I mean, Rafa had all summer at Everton to bring new players in and get his philosophy across, and look where they are. He failed. There is no doubt about it. So this thing about him being Newcastle's guardian angel, or whatever you want to call it, it's not going to work, man. And I just think that, for poor Eddie Howe, he took a massive chance coming into this club when he did. He knew where we were, but he believes, and he still does believe, that he can get us out of the crap that we're in. And I believe in him. I haven't lost me belief in Eddie Howe. I was a little sort of, confidence was knocked a little after yesterday's performance. Some of his decisions baffled me.
Questionable.
But we will come on to that. But is he still the right man for me to take us out of this? Yes, he is. Let's just see where we stand at the end of the transfer window. Hopefully a couple of new faces in before Leeds. That might just turn our team around. You just never know. So let's not really, disrespect Eddie Howe in the way that we have, because I think it's damn right disgraceful. Anyway, Danielle, the match yesterday, I mean, what did you think when you saw the starting lineup?
I was really happy with the starting lineup. I was surprised to see Paul Dummett. I know we talked about it in the preview. I wasn't convinced that he was going to start because of Eddie Howe's comments on Friday, saying he was close. For me, that's not ready. But I was happily surprised. I was really excited. I thought, we're going to give this a good go. Well, I needn't have bothered. I know everyone's expecting us to have a big rant about it, but I feel just resigned to the misery right now. I honestly feel just as miserable as I did at 4:45 yesterday afternoon.
Yeah. Toon Dave, thanks for the £6.10 super chat, commenting Eddie Howe's Black and White Army. Alex, I mean, Dummett included yesterday, and quite frankly, I thought he did okay, Paul Dummett, yesterday. I don't think he was anything like as bad as some of them, but it was Longstaff that got me. Playing him again and playing him for the full 90.
Yeah, so Longstaff's game yesterday, he was all over the place. He had a couple of Jekyll and Hyde moments, a couple of positive moments, but he was popping up in areas I was very confused about. He kept coming to the right wing and going down the right-hand side of their 18-yard box. I don't know what he was. I mean, fair enough, he's trying to attack, but nothing ever came of those little weird runs. So I have done some digging. It's not something that I've looked into massively, but I had a little look at Longstaff, and apart from his pressures and tackles, he is by far a massive problem in our midfield for trying to get the ball up the pitch, which is why we use Shelvey and Shah and go to the sides, and they figured that out very quickly. So his progressive passes is bottom 5%, his progressive carries is bottom 2%, and this is in the top 5 European leagues for people in his position. He just cannot get that ball up the pitch. He's just so uncomfortable on the ball. So yesterday against Watford, 0 key passes, 0 accurate crosses, 0 accurate long balls. He got dribbled past 4 times. And he was the lowest rated player on our side, bar Miggy, who was only on for 9 minutes. But it's just not good enough. Not at all. Not even. I mean, he made a couple of positive runs, but that's just not enough. It's not enough. And ultimately,
it was the giving away the ball that was doing my head in. You know, his passes were absolutely dreadful. You know, and I mean, there was 2 players that stood out on the really dreadful side for me yesterday, and that was Longstaff and Lascelles. I just have no idea what Lascelles is doing anymore. I mean,
I don't think he does.
Well, I mean, his passing was abysmal again. You know, we know that Lascelles cannot bring the ball out. We have no faith. And when he does, he passes it straight to their midfield. He almost conceded a goal with Sissoko's effort yesterday by giving the ball away. He just doesn't install you with any confidence. And I was watching very closely yesterday between him and Kieran Trippier on the right-hand side. And you know, if the ball went out of play or something like that, I was paying attention to seeing what Lascelles was doing as a captain. Nothing. Now, then you've got Kieran Trippier running right into the middle of the pitch to talk to other players and really, really was vocal. Now, you might say, well, you know, there's more than one captain on the pitch. There's only one gets the armband, but there's more than one captain, right? This, for me, has to change because Lascelles, he doesn't lead by example because all he does is make mistakes and give the ball away, and we concede goals because of him. I mean, he was out jumped yesterday for the Watford goal. You know, I cannot understand, you know, why he's still captain, Danielle.
No, and he shouldn't be captain. And I think Eddie Howe, as much as I hate to admit it, like maybe he just doesn't want to cause hell in the dressing room. Maybe he doesn't want to lose the dressing room, so he's keeping him in to keep the peace. Whether that's a right or wrong decision, I'll let the viewers decide. I think he should never wear a Newcastle United strip again, in my opinion, along with Sean Longstaff. I'm just sick of the 2 of them. I'm sick of the same crap every single week. I just found the whole game really, like, within the 8th minute, I was watching like that. Like, I just couldn't settle. I thought Dubravka was quite vocal yesterday. I don't know if anyone saw him, but he was going absolutely mental in his goal. He was screaming and running and screaming again and waving his arms. And I just thought, well, at least somebody's got some passion. I thought Joe Linton had a really good game again, really impressive. I think he took a moment to have a look at the flag that War Flags had done for him as well. I think that perked him up. But overall, just another shocking performance. And I just feel like, I mean, midfield is desperate. We need somebody in because Longstaff's crap. Willock, we don't know what's going on there. There's something not right there. And defensively, Lascelles just needs to leave because he's just very, very, very poor. I don't know. I don't know where the next win's coming from. And I know by Thursday, everyone will be expecting us to be like, oh, we're going to beat them 3-0 Leeds next week. I don't think so.
Listen, I said 4-0. You know, I mean, I was still, you know, when I saw that team yesterday, and I still said 4-0. I thought, you know what, with the inclusion of Wood, the hopefully the new bounce, it didn't bloody happen.
No.
And Chris Wood was just starved. I mean, I didn't think Chris Wood looked particularly fit yesterday, to be honest. I don't think he looked at 100% at it. But let's face it, he's had 1.5 training sessions or something like that with the lads. But it was the lack of crossing again. And again, Alex, we come to ASM in the first half. The amount of times that man could have crossed the ball and he lost it. It was criminal. Now, people are going to come back and say, oh, well, he scored a brilliant goal. Yeah, he scored a good goal. But we're talking about the rest of the time when he needs to put the ball in the box. And again, he didn't. And I was listening to Alan Shearer yesterday when I was driving through the game. Alan Shearer was on the radio and he was talking about ASM and saying that he would be absolutely giving him a rollicking every time that he did not put that ball in the opportunity fall to him, because all he's doing is he's chopping back on his left, chopping back on his right, and not putting the cross in. And Shearer said himself, if I was a centre forward playing with him, I would be going ballistic with him on a regular basis until he got the message to stop the fancy dance shit and put the ball in. So, you know, I mean, he lost the ball numerous times in that first half, Alex.
Yeah, first half was very, very poor. A little bit better second half. He did his 60-minute limp, as you guys said. That was purely because he got taken out from behind by Sissoko. But that first half, he got 4 crosses, 0 accurate. Yeah. So even when he did, they were pants.
Yeah.
And he was outmarked.
He was. I mean, again, I put that down to Longstaff. I know you guys. I'm not saying that ASM was right. Yeah, he was. It's his talents there. It's his decision making. There were parts of the game where he made the right decisions and he cleaned it up, but it wasn't often enough. And that first half was awful. He's just got to stop that. And he keeps getting away with it because he keeps scoring in these games. But again, for me, it comes down to Longstaff, because essentially we couldn't, apart from the 3 or 4 times that Joe Linton carries the ball up the pitch per game, which starts an attack, that's great. But apart from that, they've got us worked out. They know exactly what we're going to try and do. Fraser and Trippier, despite having decent quality, they were trying really hard to get balls in. ASM was trying his hardest, making the wrong decisions. But it was just obvious what we were trying to do. And there was no variation. And then we saw it against Cambridge and we saw it again against Watford, where when we ran out of ideas, drag it back, go for a 30-yard shot. That's just got to stop, because that's, I mean, ASM, 1 key pass and the goal. But again, he ran out of steam. I think in my match notes, he was getting tired. He kept losing the ball sort of 70-ish minutes just before he got taken off.
I can just remember him being on his back and just screaming, "Get up!"
Whenever I write match notes, it's ASM's tired, isn't running. Oh, ASM did a great run, great cross. Oh, now he's tired again. It's ridiculous. It's so up and down with him every 2 minutes. He's
when he was sitting on his backside down near the Gallagher end in the first half, I was getting really peed off because I didn't, there was nothing wrong with him. And he got up and then started running back. Then when he got tackled in the second half, he did his normal thing, waving his arm in the air like, I'm the man, I'm injured, look at me. And it really pisses me off. And then even when he scored, he done, fair enough, celebrate your goal, all right? I get that. But then after everyone had celebrated with him, he still there stood and then did this crazy karate kick, which I thought, what the hell is he doing? Just, I mean, this guy, I'm sorry, but he is all for himself. He isn't for the team. He is for himself. And nothing is going to change my mind on that until a proper manager does something with him. Because Eddie Howe's got to put him to one side or put him on the bench and say, look, enough's enough, mate. We've given you the opportunity to provide decent crosses into the area, and you can't do it. Stephen Fraser, thank you very, very much for £100 super chat, matey. That is very, very kind. Thank you so much. Really generous. Absolute star, man. Thank you so much. Joe Linton, if you keep putting in capital letters and arguing with everybody, I'm chucking you off, mate. It's as simple as that. Take it as your last warning. I'm sick of looking at the caps lock, man. Some people are saying Lingard in and bench ASM, says Dino. One thing we will talk about on a positive note from the game yesterday, Danielle, was the 68th minute.
Breathtaking.
I was very, very nervous, I must admit, when the clock was ticking to the 68th minute, because I told everybody around me, but it seemed like everybody had known. It was started off, quiet, few claps, and then obviously everybody looked up at the board and saw Dave's picture, and everyone stood up and started applauding, and the whole ground, even the Watford fans. So thank you very much to them as well. They stood up and applauded him as well. And I have to say, it was emotional, standing there clapping, looking at the whole of St. James's Park, clapping for a man that we absolutely adored. And it was just fantastic to see. I don't know how it came across on at home, but I came back and Susan had recorded it on her phone, and she was the commentator even mentioned Dave's name, which was incredible.
He did. I was a bit like you. I was really nervous beforehand, because I thought I really want this to be really great. And then when it happened, it was just the emotion took over. I think I was in floods of tears, as I'm sure you were, Paul. And everybody really who knew Dave, it was an emotional moment, but so proud. Like, how proud would he have been to look? Well, he would have said it was ridiculous, wouldn't he?
He would have slapped me in the face. I know for a fact he would have. He would have absolutely gone mental with me for doing something like that, because you know what he was like with any sort of attention that he got. But I
know that Donna and the rest of his family were really appreciative.
Yeah, and
absolutely loved it. I just found it like, what a moment for Dave. Like, I just don't think it could have gone any better. And well done to you for organising it with Steve Hasty. Well done, because he did him absolutely proud, and I'm dead proud of you.
Thank you. It was emotional, but it was also, I thought sort of the emotion took over, but it was also looking around, seeing everybody standing up, applauding for him.
That's what set me off when I seen all the people rising.
It made me smile, and I don't know what it was. It kind of took over the emotions. I was just smiling, thinking, "Wow, this is for him." And it was a massive Geordie send off for him, and it was just an unbelievable feeling and an unbelievable scene, seeing them, and it was probably the best minute of the match, to be honest.
Because
the rest of the crap, and they couldn't even hang on to win for him. I mean,
that's exactly what I thought. I just thought, for God's sake, like, when we got, what time was the winning goal? Was it like the 82nd, 3rd minute or something? I can just remember being like that. Like, I can't even look. I could see it coming from a mile.
Well, I knew from around the 70th.
And I was watching Baz's channel, and Billy was doing his dinger. Like, I've never seen. I know you go mad, Paul, but Billy, oh my God, he had me in hysterics. I was literally like, what?
I've trained him well, Danielle. I've trained him well. Speaking of the equaliser, Alex, I mean, what is this about Newcastle United scoring a goal and then just sitting back? I mean, we've done it not just under Steve Bruce. We do it under Eddie Howe. We did it under Rafa. We just sit back when we've taken the lead. And I mean, for me, Watford were there for the taking yesterday. When we took the lead, I thought we were going to go on and get 2 or 3.
Yeah, so 100%, you're right. I again completely don't blame Eddie Howe for this. He mentioned this in his interview. That's not what the instructions were to the players at all. They should not have been doing that. That was ridiculous. Murphy got it right on the other side. He came on with 15 minutes to go, completed all of his passes. He got the ball out. He did a good job. On the left-hand side, Miggy comes on and decides to only succeed with one pass and run all over the place erratically. He left Dummett in no man's land trying to defend an open space, and Dummett has to do a last-ditch sprint to try and... I mean, that would have been a red... If that cross hadn't have gone in, that was a red card, because Dummett absolutely sweeped him. Yeah, he was gone.
I love him.
Dummett did incredible.
I mean, he doesn't hold back out of a tackle, does he? I mean, that's what I love about Dummett, and that's what we've missed at left back.
Yeah, Dummett was incredible yesterday. Definitely Premier League defender, deserved to be in the team. We've missed him. Considering that's his first game back, he did 90 full minutes.
Yep.
He wasn't tired. He was putting in a defensive sprint on the 88th minute to try and stop that cross, and he nearly got it. And then 6'2" Jamal Lascelles decides to get out jumped by 5'11" João Pedro, who doesn't score headers, which is not good enough. Considering that, again, he won 12 of his 15 aerial duels, but he lost the one that was important, and it was that one. And he can't be losing that. It's not good enough. And again, a 6'5" Botman or a 6'3" we've got lots of centre backs on the radar. They don't lose that jump. That's not going in the back of the net. We need another person. He's not a lot of criticism for Shah, but he wasn't part of any of the mistakes yesterday. He wasn't amazing, but Lascelles needs to win that header. Not good enough.
Yep. Luke says he's just watched the True Geordie, and he said Eddie Howe's got to go if we lose the next game.
I don't agree.
No, I'm sorry, but
just my opinion. Like, he's
bollocks.
entitled to his, and I understand the passion. I understand it, but I still go back to it. Panic. We're in this situation now, and it's not looking great. I mean, it really isn't. And the likelihood is that we will be relegated, as much as I hate to say it. But this is a complete rebuild, and people. It just worries me, the names that are being kind of thrown around by the fan base. We're going to get this player, that player. That nobody of any world-class standard is going to come to this club the way we are right now. And looking at it now, I think Chris Wood was a panic buy. I think it was a case of get anyone go up front, because we literally can't get anyone at the moment. I
mean, Stephen's right what he says here. How can only polish a turd so much?
Exactly. You can only put so much glitter on it, can't you?
Yeah, but you look at what he's done in the background, with the training. He's got them back to training full time. He's got the work ethic going again. He's got Joe Linton playing again. There is a lot of positives to what Eddie Howe has done. Does it look much better on the pitch at the minute? No, it doesn't. But it's the same players, basically.
But yet it did against Man United.
Well, yeah, I mean, but we always know that Newcastle raised the game against United Man United for some reason. I don't know why that is, but listen, I've always said we should just wait and see what happens in this window, see who comes in. We could end up getting another 4, 5, 6 players in this window. There's plenty of time left, and I'm sure that behind the scenes the new owners are thinking, right, we have got to spend. But, Toon Dave says there, even Paul, Danielle and Stato, I love that we just calls you Stato now. Let's give us some good news and potential signings tonight.
I wish we could.
Not at the minute. Me and Baz will be doing a 1 o'clock show tomorrow. So we're going through hopefully some decent news then. But, who knows with Newcastle? Again, there's a lot of people in the chat saying that, they don't want to look backwards with Rafa. They'd rather look forwards and give Eddie Howe our support. For me, Longstaff wasn't as bad as people think. I wouldn't have Rafa back. Eddie's got a much better style of play. If we do get him back, needs to be soon. Can't wait for 10 games left.
Did you hear the stats?
Yeah, a potato gamer. I think you're having a bit of a Sinclair, mate. He was awful. He was awful. I mean, Chris Wood, Alex, he was just out the game. He wasn't in the game at all. I was a bit frustrated with him that some balls that landed with him were bouncing off his chest and away, but he's short of match practice, isn't he? Yeah,
so we brought him in for the aerial prowess, and he only won 4 out of his 13 aerial duels, which is a little disappointing. Like you said, they did keep pinging off. He drew 3 fouls, which was good, but then he fouled them 3 times. It just wasn't a lot. He had a couple of shots. There was a really, really good opportunity where he tried to cut it back onto his right foot instead of taking it first time. That was probably his best chance. Yeah. I think he tried quite a far looping header as well.
Yeah, there was a header in the first half, wasn't there? Just sort of looped over.
Just not much service, really. Most of I think he got quite heavily marked, and a lot of the crosses went to Lascelles' head because Wood was too heavily marked on set pieces. And Lascelles I mean, fair enough. He was getting it back into the danger area.
Yeah, he was.
I just
He
prefer
was.
he did his job at the back before we start.
It's amazing how he can
doing
win.
that.
He can win headers in his own in the
Yeah.
opposition 6-yard box and can't do it in his own 18-yard one.
Yeah,
Beggars
very true.
belief.
Yeah.
Ginger, I have been waiting for you to comment. Okay, Paul, we will give him the chance to relegate us. Then you can't say a damn word against him if he takes us down. Ginger,
Ooh.
you know what it is? You are the most negative person I have ever met. And I've met a few negative people in my life. I've seen you on other streams giving it large about how terrible Eddie Howe is and all of this rubbish. Listen, have a word with yourself, right? Eddie Howe's been in the job 5 minutes. Now, why would you? Who would you want in if Eddie Howe goes? Because if you say Rafa, mate, you're a plum. You're a prize candidate plum. In fact, I'll upgrade that to a melon, right? Because nothing Rafa is going to do. He's failed at Everton and he's failed in China. What gives you the confidence he's going to walk back in and suddenly click his magic fingers and these players suddenly become world beaters? Impossible, mate. You've been against Eddie Howe from the start. We know that. Fair enough, that's your opinion. But he's, to think, he's going to relegate us, which is all you've said on everybody's stream that you've been on. You haven't said a positive word. It's unbelievable, man. Anyway, Jake, good evening. George is not good enough. Need to beat teams around you to survive. Not good enough, but can't think of any other manager who'd do better than Howe in general. Exactly,
Good
Danielle.
point, Jake. Good
We
point,
don't
Jake.
need to beat the other teams either. We just need to keep up with Watford. That's
I bet
literally
Jake's
it.
looking forward to Saturday. Guaranteed 3 points for Leeds, eh?
Well, they played well today, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
terrifying.
worry. Because
In terms of the manager thing, my take on it is he's here. In my opinion, he's not going anywhere for the short term, even into the long term, depending on what happens. And from my recollection, apart from Fonseca, there wasn't a long list of managers banging down Newcastle's door for the job. So I don't know what makes us so attractive to a world-class manager right now. I don't
know what Eddie Howe's supposed to do, Danielle. He's left. It's Rafa's dead wood and Steve Bruce's dead wood that he's trying to put a team together with. I mean,
I understand the frustrations in some of his decision making, and I take people's points. You know, the substitutions, the substitution yesterday, how Longstaff lasted 90 minutes on the pitch. You know, I understand that, and I get people's frustrations. However, we've only had 2 players into the squad since Eddie Howe took over. So I don't really see, and I think he's massively improved Joe Linton, massively. I think as soon as Eddie Howe's come in, we've seen a more attacking style. However, not so much yesterday. But I honestly don't think anyone could come in, because the bottom line is this squad is just crap. And that's it. It's rubbish. So until we bring some more people in my opinion, then that's not going to change. So maybe we just need to give him the window, give him to the end of the season, and let's see what Amanda and Merdad have agreed with him in terms of relegation. So is there a relegation clause? We don't know.
Yeah. It doesn't. I mean, listen, Rafa, you could come into this team, and it was only a few weeks ago we were saying, Klopp and Guardiola couldn't get a tune out of this team. So if they couldn't get a tune out of this team, how the hell would Rafa? Come on, let's talk English here. I mean, the bottom line is these players are not good enough. It doesn't matter what you do with them in training. If they haven't got the ability when they're on that pitch in a match environment, they are not going to get any better. It is simple as that. These players that we have are has-beens, right? They've played in the Championship with us. They've played in the Premier League with us and struggled. They're not good enough. So it's not all down to Eddie Howe. Yes, Eddie Howe will make mistakes along the way, but you can't learn anything if you don't make mistakes. He's not going to come in here. I could
understand if he had like a secret stash of midfielders, world-class midfielders, and a secret stash of world-class defenders and strikers that he was just deliberately not putting on the pitch. I could understand that.
Yeah.
How come there wasn't a striker on the bench yesterday? Because we've got no fit strikers available. That's why. That's the bottom line.
The criticism I would have had of Eddie yesterday is I would have give Elliot Anderson a chance in front of Longstaff, because Longstaff hasn't been good enough, and Elliot Anderson is a decent young kid. And yesterday would be a perfect game to see what he can do instead of playing a guy who is just lazy, won't go in for 50-50 tackles, can't run in a straight line, or. I have seen some comments on this, by the way, and some other YouTube shows that Jeff Hendrick should have been in the side yesterday, and he wasn't even on the bench. So, I mean, I know everybody was against it, but, you look at Longstaff's performances, you look at Willock's performance, and think, right, how can you get any worse? I mean, Alex, I don't know about you, but
I mean, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I just think it's players just not listening to instructions is the major problem. About the managers, you put any manager in the dugout, Clark still gets sent off against Norwich because that was a decision that he made. Any manager is in the dugout against Watford. Lascelles doesn't win that header. It doesn't matter. It's not Eddie Howe is not. His tactical setup is not causing that. These are players who are either just not good enough or making bad decisions. He instructed them to press out yesterday. I was very impressed with Shelvey doing that. He was, as soon as the corners came in, he was trying to drag the team up and get them back into shape, which 6 months ago, he couldn't drag anything. Very impressive. But yeah, he's working with what he's got. I don't think he's making that many mistakes. The only thing you can argue about is his starting choices between like Hendrick, maybe giving Anderson a chance. But we've got no data on Anderson. People haven't seen him play much. It's a gamble. So we don't know if he's good enough. Howe was watching him in training. That's probably the only difference yesterday. I mean, nobody else could have started in centre back really. Apart from maybe Kraft instead of Lascelles.
Yeah.
The only obvious difference was maybe start Murphy or change the midfield. Those were the only things he could have tinkered with. The rest is just down to the players on the pitch and listening to their instructions. They've just got to do better.
Yano's got an interesting point here about Rafa. He says Rafa went to Everton, got rid of the director of football, head of recruitment, head scout, James Rodriguez, and Lucas Dean. He's an absolute megalomaniac.
Well, they were calling him a spy from Liverpool, weren't they? That's why.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, look, at the end of the day, the situation with Rafa is it was a failure from the start. I was astounded that he took the Everton job in the first place. He was hated very, very early on from the Everton fans. Stephen Fraser, thank you for another £100, matey. That is unbelievably kind. Thank you so much for that. Steve. Absolute top man. Thank you so much. So, I mean, I was astounded, Danielle, when he went there. We saw pictures of, graffiti on walls and saying get out, and already before the ball had even been kicked this season. So it was always against him from the start, really, wasn't it?
It was. We're in such a mess, Paul, aren't we? Like, we literally are. Like, we can't agree on who should be manager. We've got no players who want to play football apart from a few, We've got a transfer window where the players we want won't come. I literally feel like a balloon with a hole in, just whizzing around. That's what I feel like. I just feel like I've got now left.
Yeah, back and forwards. I mean, Toon Dave says Rafa's stats are nothing special, if I remember, for the Toon.
I just think with Rafa, he got the club, and he had the connection with the fan base, and that's why people can't let him go. I'm not saying that he would be better than Howe. And of course, I don't think that, but that's why people love Rafa. That's the reason, I think.
Ada says Howe needs to drop Lascelles and Longstaff, and we need 2 new defenders. Well, listen, I mean, we're not going to talk much about transfers on this show, but Diego Carlos is close, I believe. So let's just keep fingers crossed for that.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, it certainly would. But
they just got knocked out of their cup as well. They lost to Real Betis. So it could be a go ahead with that one. Lucy Marie says we need at least 6 players, another 6. That's exactly what I said when I came out of that ground last night, Alex. That half that team needs changing. I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, we need some squad depth because the bench looks awful.
What do you mean? Maybe not. You saw that performance yesterday. We thought it was going to be a lot different than the game.
But I feel like if you put in a quality midfielder instead of Longstaff as a transfer and a quality centre-back signing instead of Lascelles, I feel like that game goes differently.
That improves the
midfielder will pull the strings. Yeah, that's just 2 players. So the midfield would have pulled the strings a bit more and there would have been fewer defensive errors. So I feel like 2 transfers would have won yesterday's game. And then if we're talking about beating other bigger teams in the league, then fine. Yeah, we need a lot more signings than that. But
well said, Alex. Good point.
yeah, I don't think we need everybody's
right,
just like, nah, put everybody in the bin and buy
all right.
squad.
I stand corrected, right? You made a good point there, and that's what you're on this show for, to keep me right when I go
Really
off
good
on
point.
one.
Well done.
So, yeah, right. So if we look at it now, if we look at we desperately need 2 centre-backs. There is no doubt about it that we have to get 2 centre-backs in, because I don't believe Fabian Schär is good enough anymore. He looks a liability. His crossing, I mean, his passing was terrible yesterday again. I don't know whether you've got any stats on him, Alex.
Yeah,
but he was
bad.
poor.
Of course he has his Toon stat.
He completed 2 of his 9 long balls, which is supposed to be his forte. He's meant to be a ball-playing centre-back, and it was poor. And he had a big man to aim for, so there's no excuse this time. He's not hitting long balls to Gale anymore. Like, you got to hit Chris Wood on the head. It wasn't good enough. Mm-hmm. But again, he didn't make any defensive errors, but he didn't do his job as a ball-playing centre-back. So, yeah, just average.
So, we know that Botman isn't a go-ahead anymore. The chairman of Lille has come out and said, no, he is going nowhere in January. Where do you think that leaves us now, Danielle, with regards to centre-backs?
Desperate. That's where it leaves me.
Yeah.
I really had my heart set on him. And I thought they were just playing the game. I thought they were just going to wait till transfer deadline day and then go, oh, all right, then we'll take the money. I believe what you said, Paul, but clearly it's a no-go now. I just hope they've got somebody. Apparently they did have a first, second, third and fourth option. So let's be having it.
There's a long list, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what it is. I've just put the link to become a member in the chat. I haven't pinned it or anything, but it is in there. Martin, thanks for the £4.49 super chat, matey, and asking if I can put the membership in the chat, which I have just done.
Thanks, Martin.
DGL Float says Rafa could have waited for the Toon job, but he wouldn't. So no thanks for me. Give Howe till the end of the season at least, but there has been improvements. I just think the players know their time is up. Is it a question of just down in tools, Alex, do you think, that some of them know that they're not going to be a part of the club anymore?
I'd like to think not. I mean, Jamal Lascelles actually gave an interview before the Watford game. It's the first time I've seen him on camera in months. Mm-hmm. And I praised him for that on Twitter. I was like, well done. You've put yourself back in front of the camera. Go and play a good game against Watford. And he just didn't do that. Again, he blew his chance. So, the interview suggests he's not down to tools, but I don't understand. I just don't get it. Like, Lascelles seems like he's trying to get out of his slump, his permanent slump, and and there's this I don't know if did he say it himself that he thinks Longstaff is going to be part of his plans.
Well, yeah.
I don't know if he said that or if that's just been rumored. I can't remember.
Apparently, he said it. I mean, I've never heard him say that. I'm not sure whether it was in his press conference or what. I don't know.
So I don't get the down in tools thing. Yeah. It's bizarre.
Martin Blagstad, thanks for becoming a new member, matey. Welcome to the family. Liam Richardson, thank you for becoming a member. And also Todd Fischel, thank you for becoming a member as well. Welcome to the Toon Review family. You know what? I mean, there is a residing positivity for Eddie Howe in the chat on here, to be honest. I haven't seen, apart from Ginger, one person who's been against Eddie Howe, to be honest. I mean, we kind of know that there is people on social media who want Eddie Howe out the door. But look, the bottom line is, dare I say this, right? Dare I say this? But Steve Bruce's and Rafa's stats were not far away from each other. Am I right with that, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, it depends what stats you look at. Sky Sports love to put, they pick and choose the right stats. They cherry pick so it looks identical.
Yeah, of course.
But you have to remember as well that Bruce got ASM through the door. Rafa never had that. Rafa had Murphy and they were not the same wingers at the club. Exactly. So we had Rondon, Hosselu, Murphy, whereas Steve had Joe Linton that was meant to be good. He banged him in for Hoffenheim. I think it was 7 goals, a few more in the cups. So he had money. And Rafa only had 6 months of Miggy as well. And let's not forget, Miggy looked frighteningly good in the first few games. He threw in on goal about 3 or 4 times in his first few games. I don't know how he didn't score hat-tricks in his first few games. It was nuts. So
Well, I think,
Bruce had a lot more.
Yeah, I was watching one of Adam's videos the other day, or it may have been yesterday or the day, and he put some stats up for Miggy since he'd been at the club. They are horrific, by the way.
Yeah,
they are horrific for an international footballer. Absolutely horrific.
And his age as well.
Oh,
it's just not good enough anymore.
You know, everybody looks at Miggy and thinks he's a kid. He's 28 years old. You know what I mean? He's not going to get any better, guys. He's not, which is why I said the other day, if Sevilla are interested in a sort of exchange deal, where they're wanting money plus Almiron for Diego Carlos, to snap the hands off.
He's on high wages as well, so
yeah. A lot of people saying in the comments as well, Danielle, that you know, the football under Rafa wasn't great either.
No, I mean, it wasn't. He was a lot more defensive than Eddie Howe, but it wasn't easy to watch. But I don't know, because I love Rafa. I do love him, but he's just not right. It's just not right now. I believe in Eddie Howe, and I believe in this rebuild, and it's just going to take time. And we don't want to end up being one of those clubs that changes their manager every 5 minutes. And I don't think the directors would do that. I don't think that's not what they're here to do. Look how long it took them to get rid of Steve Bruce.
What do you think of Ginger's comments here? I can't trust a manager who changes his tactics like his underpants. Press, sit back, don't try and attack. 3-4-3, 5-4-1, 4-5-1, 4-5-1. Did he not have a plan before Howe came in? Stick by your Laurel Howe. Listen, he didn't play 4-5-1. It was 4-3-3 yesterday, and 4-3-3 the game before. So what you watching,
got
Ginger?
Opinions, and I understand that, but I think that in a football game, you change your formation as the game goes along, depending on what's happening with the game itself. So if you're on the front foot, you're not going to put, well, you're off your Steve Bruce, but you're not going to put 5 at the back, are you? But that happens in football, and I just feel like at the minute, people are just really like up a height about the situation that we're in, and I understand it because it's painful. I don't want to get relegated. It hurts me every time I watch this football. I've got to go to Everton. I'm going to St James's for the Everton game when they're going to be on a new manager bounce. Can't wait for that. Like, I honestly can't wait. It just will never get any luck at all. And I reckon it'll be Wayne Rooney as well. I think Wayne Rooney's going to take it. And yet again, good old, here comes Newcastle United. He has another 3 points for you.
Yeah. I mean, Duncan Ferguson has been mentioned for the role to sort of take them for the rest of the season. I don't think Duncan Ferguson will turn around and say, I'm going to take them again and then not get the job at the end of it. I think, you know, Duncan, he's done his time as sort of number 2 at Everton for quite some time now. And I think if they were going to offer him the job, he would only take that on a permanent basis, I think. But it'd be interesting to see what happens with it by the time that Everton come to St James's Park. There's a bit of a way to go before then.
3 weeks.
You know, so 2 weeks of that is the transfer window. It'd be interesting.
Please God.
To see how both teams look come the end of that. Carly Anderson, thank you for becoming a new member. Welcome to the family, matey. Thank you so much. Nigel says, Eddie Howe is young and ambitious and works hard. That ticks all my boxes, just needs support in the transfer window.
Good point, Nigel.
Which he's getting. Luke says, when the building's on fire, you don't haggle over the fire extinguisher. Just give them what they want, a.k.a. pay the effing money. Ginger says, no, it's not, Paul.
Fair enough.
1 win in 11 is disgraceful. He's trying to con the fans in press conferences.
But Steve Bruce was 1 win in 18. Like, that was...
was it not 1 win in 23 or something?
Yeah, I think it was worse than that. It's just it's bogus statistics. I mean, his formation comment as well, that was during December when we played 3 of the best teams in the league back to back. I'm sorry, is that not what most teams do when they face them? Is they change their formation and play back 5?
Yeah.
Everybody does that. It's very normal.
He doesn't want him. It's as simple as that. But
and we've got injuries as well. So the reason for the formation change is strikers and changes and Wilson being injured. Makes a lot of sense. It's just context.
Yeah, Simon makes a good point. Why would we get Rafa in when he's just been sacked by Everton with a better squad than ours? doesn't make sense. People just need to take a step back and let's see how Eddie Howe does. Perfect. You know, I mean, you've got to remember that, you know, Rafa built that team at Everton. That was his team. He got a lot of new signings in and he's failed. Absolute failed. Eddie Howe has not got his new signings in yet because he hasn't had a full transfer window. And it's more difficult in January, to be fair, than it is in the summer.
Yeah, he hasn't had a summer transfer window, has he?
No.
Honestly. One shot on target all game. That is what's worrying for me. If we can't score, we don't win. It's as simple as that.
Good point. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Alex, I said yesterday after the game, you know, you look at the home games, Brentford, Norwich, who else am I thinking about? Yesterday, obviously, against Watford. These are the teams that have come to St. James's Park. Leeds United as well. We haven't won. So many people are turning around saying, well, if you can't beat those teams at home, you kind of deserve to go down.
Yeah, so the first point you said, the one shot on target doesn't tell the whole story. Stats are just stats. So when you hit the post or the woodwork, that doesn't count as a shot on target. When a shot gets blocked, when it was going to go on target, that does not count as a shot on target. So there were a lot of situations yesterday where they were good chances, but they don't get chalked up as a shot on target. So that's a bit cheeky. We didn't do too bad in that area. And what was the second point?
Was about winning the home games. You know, when you're playing the teams down below.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
Brentford,
to an
Watford.
extent, yeah. But in reality, we just need to keep pace with Watford. That's it. At the moment, we just need to match what Burnley, Watford, and Norwich. We just need to match that.
Yeah.
It sounds silly, but it's true. That's all we need to do. We're completely. I don't know how we're not adrift. It's crazy that we're not adrift with one win. It just shows how terrible the league is at the bottom end. But we're still somehow in with a chance. And I know a win doesn't seem very likely, but we've done it in the past. We've done it under Steve Bruce. We've come in and won 2 or 3 on the bounce to get out of a bad position. So I believe with signings and in Eddie Howe, we can do that. All of a sudden, 2 or 3 wins on the bounce, and the table looks completely different.
Yeah.
And we haven't gone and beaten a big team yet this season, and I think we will. I think we can play up to the occasion as we did against Man United. So we will shock somebody eventually. Yeah.
DJ Floats, thanks for your £2.50 super chat, matey. Keep the faith with how Rafa has had his time.
Alex, I love how calm you are, by the way.
I know.
You balance the panel well. You really do. I honestly, what a appointment to our team. I love it.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, it really keeps me in check. That's for certain. I kind of run away with all these, you know, goddamn stuff and goddamn this and goddamn that, and then you put Alex on, and he's like one of them just calming influences when you put your headphones on in the night time and just hear those dulcet tones. Just keeping me right. Andrew says, never mind, Vera's on the neat. She'd sort that squad out.
Damn right she would.
What about the Haidara deal? There'll be more on that tomorrow, matey.
What's happening with Hugo?
Hugo? Who's
Isn't
Hugo?
that his name?
Hugo?
Leave it with us, I'll get back to you.
Hugo Wego?
No, Hugo.
I know Hugo.
No,
Hugo.
I do know what she's on about. I just forgotten the surname. Oh, I can't remember.
Let's go to the chat.
Oh, Ekitike.
Ekitike.
Oh, yeah, that's.
I cannot say it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah. You're gonna say it.
I just call him Hugo now because I cannot say it.
Well,
surname's amazing. You can't call him Hugo.
Yeah,
He's got
exactly.
an incredible surname.
He's got a proper Geordie surname, hasn't he? Ekitike.
If
he comes, I hope he's good because that'd be a shirt seller.
I'd love him to come. Honestly, I would. We just need help we need help everywhere, really. But up front, God. I mean, if we could have scored a couple of them yesterday that were missed, or we hit the bar or whatever,
I do feel so sorry for Joe Linton because he's.
Oh God, I know.
I feel so sorry for him because people who don't watch the games or only watch Match of the Day mock him, but some of these shots are just millimeters. It's so unlucky.
Clearly, Paul's not too pleased with Mr. Wood. £25 million for Wood, and just for that we deserve everything we get. Ridiculous decision.
I think it was panic. I think that's why we got him. Been paid that much for him.
But should we panic this early into the transfer window?
Look at the reaction from the fans. Yeah, we should panic. We've sacked the manager already, pretty much. We haven't got out the transfer window.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I don't know. I just want to fast forward a year, please. Or
well,
18 months.
Sumia Deep has a good point here because Robin Gosens at Atalanta would be a great signing. Now, we all know John Sinclair's fascination with Serie A and Italian football, and he says he's a very, very, very good player.
But did he also say he's not coming though? Because that's what he says every time a player's mentioned on his channel.
I don't think he did this time, to be honest. I don't think
good.
he did. So maybe that's a nice, pleasant change. So maybe he actually will sign. Troll says Lascelles was awful. He needs to go. Put Dummett in his place, and we are safer, in my opinion. Gareth says, is Howe putting Longstaff in the shop window? If so, Longstaff won't get any admirers. Well, if he's putting him in the shop window, mate, he's well and truly fell out of it. Because, you know, on those performances, if Howe's trying to get him sold, there is no chance in hell that anybody is going to come sweeping in and taking Sean Longstaff away from us. Yano says
that Benitez is gone as well. The Everton won't buy him anymore, will they?
Yeah, well, there you go. Rafa sacking has cost us more. Cost us our only chance of getting rid of Longstaff for any money as well. So Stephen says the SM is always going to split opinions, but do you not think our inability to win a game is our midfield? The SM has 2 or 3 on him, inevitably leading to giving the ball away. No one exploits the space.
Got nothing creative in midfield. Nothing.
Yeah.
So
we need to clone Joe Linton. Put 2 of him next to Shelby. That'd be fine.
Yeah.
Shelby is no better than Longstaff. We have the worst midfield in the league. I disagr't with that completely.
No, Shelby puts a shift in.
Listen, John Joe Shelby is a ball-playing midfielder. That is what he's there for. He's there for creation. Now, when he gets the ball, and I noticed this again yesterday, he's getting the ball and he's having to go sideways because nobody is making forward runs. So he's having to keep going sideways. And the only time that he ever sees a man going forward is Trippier on the far side. And he picks him out 9 times out of 10. That is the only time that John Joe Shelby ever sees a forward running player, which is crazy. So what is he supposed to do? You know, he's got, you know, the opposition players coming charging towards him. All he could do is lay it off to the nearest player, which is why we keep going backwards. And it's so frustrating.
Yeah, he was okay yesterday. He got 8 accurate long balls, 80% pass accuracy. He wasn't a problem. He sat back in the anchor role and passed it about. I don't know what. I've seen a lot of hate for Shelby for yesterday. I don't understand why.
He's always going to get hated on. He is. He's just one of those players that he's just there. He could have a world.
Doing his job. Maybe they wanted him to run forward, but that's literally not his job. His job was to sit back and do exactly what he did, which was fine. He was switching it. But like you said, no runners. What's he supposed to do?
Yep. Nigel says, I'm worried about transfers. A third hitting a brick wall, a third being hijacked, and a third we won't pay for. Look, there is going to be this thing in the transfer window where we make many, many, many approaches for players and we're going to get turned away. That's just the nature of the game. What we don't want to do, like you said, Danielle, is panic buy, you know, just for the sake of getting players in. We'll see how Chris Wood turns out. I do think £25 million is quite, you know, obviously a lot of money.
But he's only had one game, so, you know.
Exactly, which is why I'm willing to give him a go. And he's obviously coming up against his ex-teammates in Leeds United next week. So hopefully that'll give him a bit of extra drive and desire to put the ball in the net. But we just need creativity because what I'm watching, Danielle, is when we're going forward with the ball, we're stopping in the final third because we've run out of. There's no one there. There's no one making runs. Yeah. The ideas are just severely lacking.
It's just there's nothing there, and everyone's like looking around, like what next? Balls are going in, but there's no one there to get them, or it's just a mess. But I think if we can get someone from a midfielder in, if we can get another. We definitely need to get rid of Lascelles' mind. So in the centre back, midfielder, and potentially a second striker, I think would be all right, in my opinion. Will it be enough? I don't know.
It's clearing out the dead wood as well, and you know what I mean.
I know what we're going to do with all these, though. Like, what are we going to do? Nobody wants him.
Yeah, I mean, somebody on Facebook there saying, "Hello all, I trust Eddie, but I don't trust the players." And I think that sums it up. The players are just you can't trust them. Lascelles needs his contract ripped up. Did you see the 2 times he just passed the ball away stupidly and then got out strengthened and out jumped by that skinny twat João Pedro? Yeah, I mean, Pedro is, there's nothing on him. If we're openly honest, he's a lot smaller than Lascelles.
Lascelles is 2 stone heavier. I looked at it.
Yeah, but how does he get out muscled, Alex? How is that possible?
I don't know. I mean, if you look at the replays, there was a Watford player on the floor, and I'm not 100% sure whose man it was, whether it was meant to be Shah's. It was a little bit confusing. But Lascelles saw him, he committed to the jump, and he messed it up. So he's got to take the responsibility for that.
Yeah. I mean, Danielle, we've said our piece on Mr. Lascelles a lot of the time, and I personally think, even the best managers in the world now couldn't get a tune out of Lascelles because he's just not good enough.
No, he's just not. And he's probably been that way for quite a while now. And it just shows you. I mean, how long has he been in the team now? And we've just had nothing. Yeah. Like, it's just, I don't like to be unkind to players. I don't. But I think his time's up now, and I think we need to bring a replacement in for him, and then look to see who will take him. Because if we don't, then the next 4 months up to May is going to be very, very depressing for everybody. Really, I'd like if we do go down, I'd like to put up a little bit of a fight, though. I just want to see some fight.
I mean, Ryan's saying there, losing doesn't bother me. It's the manner. It's like you have no fight in them whatsoever.
I mean, we drew. We didn't lose, but I know everybody thinks we lost, but it was 1-1.
But Alex, that kind of game yesterday is like a defeat, as far as I'm concerned. Because
for sure, yeah, it feels
we
like
should have won that game. We should have won that game by 2 or 3 goals. Watford, in my opinion, were there for the taking. They did not look like a very good side. They had no confidence going into the game. They'd lost 7 on the bounce prior to yesterday. And, when you'd expect when we took the lead, that would have maybe dented Watford's confidence. But then instead of going for the kill, we then say, right, there's the ball, Watford. You try and break us down for the last 20 minutes of the game. It was unbelievable. And you could see that the goal was coming.
Then new signings made a difference, though, and I got to hold my hands up and apologise to their fullback because Kamara had a good game. I looked at his stats and said I have no idea why they bought him. He was decent. He was athletic. He was strong. There was twice later on in the game where he dinked it past Trippier and Fraser and just ragged them both, which was quite alarming. That Kiembe in midfield didn't do too bad either. So their new signings definitely helped. Yeah. But we had our own new signings as well, so should have done better.
Interesting tweet from Michael here saying he's seen a tweet saying ASM is Gabriel Obertan for 89 minutes and then Messi for 1 minute. Sums him up perfectly. I mean, the goal was outstanding. I mean, brilliant goal, but we're used to him doing that when he's got the opportunity to cut in and shoot. That's what he's all about. It's the other times that they're completely letting him down. And like you said before, Alex, some of his crossing was just, it was terrible.
Yeah. The positive, I mean, I still think it's positive because it's in his head where the problem lies. It's decision making. It's not like he hasn't got the physicality or the ability. It's all there. So if the players, when you mentioned about Shearer would have been having a go at him, yeah, too right. Like if we can get the players and the manager to try and convey these things to him and change his game, maybe we've got the right player there. But we'll see. It depends if his head's in the right place. But like you said, his celebrations, his Instagrams and stuff like that, we don't know if his heart's really here or if he's just trying to get the big move and he just wants his PSG shirt and his Instagram stories. Not sure.
Yeah. Mercedes says, I know Lascelles is shit. I know that, but honestly, I feel sorry for him. The amount of grief he gets threatening his family and stuff. Look, that's bang out of order. And, we'll criticize him on here and call him every name under the sun as a footballer, as his performances, but not, you don't personally attack someone like that. No. So, we'll not even give them airtime, to be honest. No. Andrew says, thing is, ASM isn't trying to change. He clearly doesn't give a pap. Well, yeah. I mean, it's fair enough. Botman is out of the question now. Leo Director confirmed he will not move anywhere in the window. Evening, Paul, Danielle, Alex. Heads up, guys. If we win all our remaining games, we'll be fine.
Well, that's a lot of points. I think if we win all of our remaining games, we'll probably be in the Europa League. That's a lot of points.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I sat yesterday and I had a joke with the guys sitting around us, George and a few others saying, "Oh, we're going to win we're going to be in the Champions League at the end of the season. We'll just stick it up everybody and we'll be in the top 4." Of course, I was talking bollocks because that isn't going to happen. So don't say I've got my head screwed on the wrong way because it's a joke. Hi guys and girls, hope you're okay. Paul, been waiting for your rant all day. Listen, I think Danielle's had more of a rant than me tonight. Well, maybe he's not, but listen, 24 hours after the event to do a review is kind of, for me, better for my blood pressure, if I'm openly honest. I mean, I do the instant reaction, just a quick 5-minute video about my thoughts on it, and then maybe leave the review of the game for a little bit longer because it gives Alex time to get his stats together. It gives me and Danielle time to calm our boiling blood down, and then try and see the game in more of a what's the word I'm looking for? More of a kind way, rather than just shout all the time. And
there's not one word for a Newcastle performance, unfortunately.
No, there isn't. To be fair, I know. 5 words.
That's a big list.
Wow, I mean that is some shopping list there, Jan. To be fair,
looks like one of mine.
We're not linked with Belotti. We've actually been linked with Balotelli, which is frightening. It's not Belotti.
Dear me. I don't want to see Balotelli anywhere near Newcastle United. You talk about unrest in the dressing room. Jesus Christ. ASM is a luxury we have to be able to afford, as the rest are lacking creativity and an ability to be match winners. It's his decision-making when to cross and when to dribble that's letting them down. I mean, look, we can say all we want on the match yesterday. It's a 1-1 draw. It's a point. I mean, where do we go now, though, Alex, going into the Leeds game? Because we know we don't play very well at Elland Road. We've had some stinkers. I mean, last season, what was I mean, we've lost quite heavily down there a few times, to be honest. I remember one, I think it was when the first lockdown was on and we lost, was it 5-2 or something?
Yeah, I remember that.
And I nearly had a heart attack doing my review. So it's not... There's not really a lot to look forward to here, is there?
No. So I have looked. Unfortunately, I have looked at the West Ham Leeds game.
Oh dear.
I'm a little bit frightened. We need signings, or we're going to get munched.
I love that phrase. We're going to get munched.
I don't know if you remember in the first half, we it was quite early on. We had a lot of the ball, and then all of a sudden Watford played a few more triangles, and Shelby had to do that last ditch tackle for the yellow card. They played a few neat triangles, and our brains couldn't handle it. They just passed it through our midfield. If Watford can do that, then Leeds are going to do that all game, and we're going to get destroyed. They were physical. They scored 3 goals. The really, really, really terrifying thing is Diop and Dawson, their 2 centre-backs for West Ham, were both the lowest rated people on the pitch, and they targeted their centre-backs. Now, if Leeds target our centre-backs, oh my God.
It'd be carnage.
They had 18 shots, 3 big chances. They're just free-flowing. They've got a few of their injured players back now.
Yeah.
They look
coming up at a Leeds fan on for the preview, Paul. I kind of take it.
Very worried about that game unless we get midfield. We need a couple of signings for that game, or it's
look, I mean, I'm not expecting. Do you know what? I'm going to go into this Leeds game and say, right, I'm not expecting anything from it because I'm sick of going into games now and thinking, we've signed this guy or that guy, and there should be a little bit of a bounce there. I'm going to shut all that shite up now because you know what it is? It's pointless. Because every time I say Newcastle are going to win, I end up disappointed, depressed, down in the dumps. I'm sick of coming out to St. James's Park looking like I've just, I've just lost every single member of my family. It feels dreadful coming out of that ground,
Awful.
just like sick as a pig.
And watching on TV yesterday felt similar. It drained it for the rest of the evening. It was horrible.
But I think for me, I'm like, I'll say, I'll go in expecting nothing, but deep down, I still hope, though. That's the thing.
Oh, of course,
I'll still hope, and I'll still feel gutted, and it'll still hurt. So, balls to it. It is what it is. Whatever happens, happens.
If the equaliser was in like the 50th minute and we were pushing for a winner, fine. It's the nature of how it happened yesterday.
Yeah,
so late with the applause at 69 minutes and then conceding at 88. It's just terrible. It just hurt more. It was just annoying.
Look, at the end of the day, the head. I mean, you looked at Watford scoring yesterday, and then you look around you, and everybody's got the head in the hands because it's like it's happened again. You know, and this is what I don't understand. And Eddie Howe's comments after the game as well, coming out and saying that, you know, we kind of went back into a shell too soon. I didn't quite understand what he was getting at there. We shouldn't be going into a shell. No. Full stop. You know, we should be going out there and getting 2 or 3 goals against a side devoid of any confidence. But no, we score a goal, but we give them the confidence back by giving them the ball.
There's just no belief, though, in the team. There's just no belief. So they get the ball in the back of the net, and then it's right. We've got our goal. We're going to sit back.
That was all Almiron doing that. He gave the ball away twice in like the final 5 minutes. Well, not the final 5 minutes, like leading up to the goal. He just kept giving the ball away on that left-hand side.
Well, I mean, honestly, it for me, you know, we've got a lot of. I think if the shackles came off a little bit and they weren't as, I don't know, as defensively minded as they are, I think we could do a lot better. I just think sometimes they've got that much sort of, it's been drilled into them to sit back so much that they're almost thinking, if we go forward, is something going to go wrong? You know, are we going to give the ball away, or are we going to not score goals, or, you know, I think, are they questioning their own ability, Danielle?
Yes, they are. I don't think they believe as a unit that they can do it. I think there's individuals on the team that believe that they can do it, but as a unit, I don't think they do. So I think they think, right, I've scored. Well, we've got a goal. Thank God for that. That's it. Let's all just defend now and let's just sit back. Which we should really gone for a second. That's why it felt like a loss, because we were just so close. We were just so close to those 3 points. And Leeds on Saturday is just, I'm dreading it.
Wendy asks a question there, saying, do you think Rafa will be invited by Amanda to be director of football, being a massive fan of his?
Don't know, because I thought they'd scrap the director of football idea now. I thought they were just going to bring in a chief executive.
Before Rafa got sacked, though, isn't it? I mean, is it a position that he could maybe take? But that's a position that Eddie Howe would have to agree to as well. You know, would Eddie Howe be happy with Rafa coming in as director of football?
I don't know how that would work. They're so different stylistically. They manage the players differently, like man management. They're night and day different. I don't know how that would work.
So, Danielle, how do you feel about it? Are you the same as Stato?
Yeah, I don't know how much of a relationship there would be there, and there has to be a really solid relationship between a manager and director of football. And like Alex said, they're just too different. Again, I think we need to kind of stop thinking about Rafa being attached to the club now. I think that ship sailed, and we just need to be all on board with this. As rubbish as it is right now, fingers crossed it's not going to be like this forever, and we will turn a corner at some point, because literally we can't get much lower than what we are now in terms of morale and mood. And we'll go again on Saturday, I suppose, but I'm not. Are you going, Paul? Are you not?
No, I'll be doing a watch along. So, cool. It'll be the second watch along that I've done. So I'll be doing that, and then we'll probably have a review show that night because you know, I may as well if I've got all the equipment set up. But God knows what that's going to be like, especially if we get an absolute pummeling. You know, it might just be a lot of angry faces. Brian says ASM is Robert. Will be thought of as a hero, but actually mediocre. The live radio Newcastle broadcast was fantastic for Dave. Yeah, it's a lot of people saying that even the American commentators mentioned his name. So Ryan says, fair play to Paul and Stevie Range. What a gesture. Cheers, Ryan. Thank you. Robin Gooson's not in the Atlanta lineup. First signing this week. Well, he is heavily linked today.
He hasn't made many starts for them, has he?
I'm not sure.
I think he's been out of the side.
But did that say side or squad there?
He's only made 6 appearances in the league, so I don't think he's been in the side very much anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure why, but...
well, people are making him out to be a fantastic player. Why has he only played 6 games? They've been injured.
Yeah, there's in the chat, there's a number of people saying he's injured.
All right, okay. Gareth says, Paul, I'd like to get your thoughts. Who would you have played for Longstaff? We are quite light in centre midfield. If we play a 5-man midfield, look, I would have had either Elliot Anderson yesterday or Jeff Hendrick. I know a lot of people have a downer on Hendrick, but you know, he can't be any worse than what we have there at the minute. Listen, if Hendrick came into the side and was told just to do a job of winning the ball and then just laying it off, fine, he can do that job, no problem. And he'd do it a lot better than Sean Longstaff would.
I just wish we knew the combination to unlock this team. I just wish we knew it.
Yeah, I know.
I know the players are rubbish and they're not, you know, the majority of them aren't good enough, but there's got to be a win in that team. There's just got to be. Like, I know we beat Burnley and that was great, but there has to be a combination that works. It's frustrating. It really is, because we played so well against Man United and then we've just gone to crap again.
It's just, I mean, where do we go? I mean, Wendy says there 15 years can't be sorted out in a few months. Get behind them.
Well said, Wendy.
Ginger says, so whose fault is it? It baffles me. Let's blame the players. So was it Bruce to blame for 2 years? Now it's blame the players, but not Howe, who was only 1 game out of 11. So please get a grip.
I think no, you know what it is? I think with Steve Bruce, my issue with Steve Bruce was the time off he was giving the players, the lack of commitment he had to the training side of things, and the crap he used to come out with his press conferences. That's my problem with Steve Bruce.
Yeah.
With Eddie Howe, he's been here how long? A couple of months. We've got to give him more time. Just got to give him more time. I think I'm not saying that he's blameless.
I mean, Ginger keeps alluding to this 1 win in 11. I mean, we've already had our say on Steve Bruce. I mean, you know, 1 win in 23. I mean, Ginger, what excuse you got for that? You know, are you going to say to me that it was the players? Because, and then you're calling for Rafa to come in. I mean, I can't see where the link is. I can't see what you're trying to say here. You know, you're saying that we're sticking up for Eddie Howe after 1 win after 11, yet he's been left with the dregs of Rafa and Steve Bruce. But then you're sticking up for Steve Bruce, who had 1 win in 23. I don't get your argument at all, and I never will. But again, you're clearly able to have your own opinion on it, Ginger. It's just wrong. Ryan says, I want to see some fight and passion. If Eddie can deliver that, fair enough. Time is running out.
That's exactly what I want to see.
Yeah, Danielle, the Saudis will not tolerate failure, and I think it's a good thing for the future. If we get relegated, I'm afraid Eddie will be relieved of his duties.
That may well be the case. Again, we don't know the details of the contract that's been put in. There may be a relegation kind of a clause in there to say that you'll be fired, and if that's the case, that's the case.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll see. Hopefully it won't come to that, because that's worst case scenario. I don't want to get relegated.
I mean, it might depend on the context as well. Like, if we go down on the final day of the season and there's been an evident change in the squad and we go down like fighting, then he might stay on. But if we're down months before the end of the season, then yeah, fine. I think it depends on the context, maybe.
Paul, if it comes down to that point, right? You and Susan pack a bag, me and Lee will pack a bag, and we'll just leave the country. And
Yeah.
we'll go see Alex.
Yeah, we'll have a trip over to Polska.
Football's not very good over here. I wouldn't recommend it. It's terrible.
Oh, dear God. Caitlin, I presume this is you and not Nick. Got a new set of nicknames for the three of you. Hairy, Scary, and Danielle. You can guess who is who. Well, obviously Danielle's Danielle, but I'm not sure
I'm
who's
Harry Scary today,
Who's Harry?
so
Who's
I could be any of those.
I'm not even. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. Abs says the players he inherited are relegation standard. Nothing Howe can do until he has his own team. Well said. Well said. Susan's working in the background eating me tea. What time did that come in? At 7:30 at night. I'm an alien hour behind. I mean, I can't keep up with these. There's just no way. Right. Final words for the show. As who do you think will be next through the door? Alex.
Carlos.
Yes.
I think Amanda will have watched that Lascelles jump and gone, oh dear God, I should have done the deal last week. I think that thought will have been in her mind 100%. They will have watched that jump. Yeah, it's got to be Carlos.
Yeah. So do you feel the same then, Danielle? Carlos?
Yes, and followed by my I can't say it, Hugo. I can't say it.
Eki Teki?
Yeah, I can't say it.
Well, just think of it in a Geordie way. Just say Eki Teki.
Eki Teki.
Eki Teki, man. How? Eki Teki's coming to Toon like how? Eki Teki.
Hey, it's nice to have a laugh, man. It's nice to have a laugh.
Easy done. Frank says the final words can only be that the Toon are going Doon yet again.
We'll be fine.
I don't want to play in the championship. Oh my God, not again. It'd be painful, man. Painful. You know, going to bloody Barnsley.
Huddersfield.
One thing that Daniel mentioned that we never extended was Dubravka actually played really well yesterday. He was confident with all of his takes. He didn't erratically flap it anywhere.
Yeah, he
was a sweeper. He keepered one moment. Like,
yeah.
If he can do that for the rest of the season, it's fine. He can stay in goal. Like, that was fine. He just needs to do that another 18 more times, please.
Yeah. Jake's just put Barnsley. Lucy Marie says she's going to leave the country if we go into the championship. So you lot who live in Newcastle, surrounded by other Newcastle fans, have it easy. Yeah, I can imagine it's not easy being in another place and being a Newcastle fan, to be honest. The absolutely crap we get. Yano says, Danielle, just say Heki Teki.
Heki Teki.
Heki Teki. And it sounds a bit like Eki Teki, so there you go. Apparently we'll not be going to Barnsley because they're going to League One. Yeah, it's not going well. Yeah. Right, that is the end of the review show, guys. Thank you very much for everyone that's taken part in the chat. Thank you so much to all the super chatters tonight for donating to the channel. It means the world to us. Thank you very much. If you have enjoyed the show, please don't forget to hit the like button for us. If you're new to the channel and you like what you see, please also consider subscribing to the channel. We're less than 200 away from 8,000 now, so it's massive jump from, it only seems like yesterday we hit 7, so it's going up relatively quickly. If you want to join the channel and become a member as well, you can do that by just hitting the join button, which is right next to the subscribe button. Tomorrow night, don't forget, the 4 Horsemen of the Toon are back over on World of Sport TV. It is the courtroom show again at the start. John will be in the dock. And he's going to get absolutely hammered.
You had a Chelsea fan on his Newcastle stream today, by the way.
Yes, I know. Eating what I don't even know what he was eating. I didn't get that at all.
I just love him. I love him a bit.
Yeah. So make sure you tune in for the 4 Horsemen. There'll be a show on here tomorrow, live at 1:00 in the afternoon with me and Barry. We'll be going through a few transfers, so join us for that. 1:00, but that'll be advertised very shortly as well. Tuesday night is the fan forum with me and Danielle, so get yourself on. Stato, of course, you'll probably be there. So, you know, now you're a host, you've got no choice but to be there, to be fair. So, so join us for that. That'll be at 8:30. And Saturday, there will be a watch along on the Toon Review channel with myself. So really, really looking forward to that, apart from the 90 minutes in between the, football that I have to sort of commentate on. But it should be a good laugh anyway, hopefully. 3 points, but we'll see. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for watching tonight. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday night. Not long of it left, of course, but Vera's on, apparently. So you can go and watch Vera and enjoy your Sunday night. Danielle, Alex, take care. We'll see you soon. And join me and Barry at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Good night.
Bye.